Hey everyone, welcome back to Weird Sports for March 5th, 2025. We got a jam-packed show for you. As always, I say that every time, but we really do as I bump the mic. So unprofessional, but you know what? This is live. I mean, it's recorded for you, but it's live. One take recorded for me. So, first off, we're going to talk a little bit about the Philadelphia Eagles rewarding their stud running back, Saquon Barkley, with a new contract. Then we're going to move on to a little bit of spring training talk and around the diamond. We got Chris live from Cubs spring training. And then he also live from Cubs spring training talked to us a little bit about the Bruins. And then Jack joined me for what was at the time an emergency at the buzzer, but obviously that was already posted on the main channel. But if you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear about it here. About Kyrie Irving's torn ACL. Real bad for the Mavericks. Just a nightmare season. We talk about what it means for the Mavericks going forward, what it means for the Western Conference, and what it would feel like as a Mavericks fan to have this happen. Not good. That's for certain. So definitely want to check that out. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the Philadelphia Eagles have had a great season. Obviously, they're Super Bowl champions, but what kind of made that season possible, and I don't think this is a hot take, was the signing of Saquon Barkley. So Saquon Barkley was signed from the Giants. Obviously, if anybody watched the Hard Knocks off season, then you saw the Giants kind of struggle with what they were going to do with him. Did they want to re-sign him? What was he worth? He had injury history, so they didn't sign him, and he was allowed to sign a free agent contract with the rival Philadelphia Eagles. That original contract, 3 years, $37.75 million, with $26 million guaranteed, and then it could increase to $46.75 million if he hit bonuses. On the Wikipedia page, it said that Barkley was fed up with negotiations with the Giants, calling their approach a little disrespectful. He felt slighted by the team's insistence that he had to prove his value on the open market, which he described as a slap in the face. So he goes to the Eagles, and all he does this year is rush 345 times. That's like crazy. That's Ricky Williams and the early 2000s level of running the ball. Granted, it wasn't 400. Ricky Williams was running at 400, but he gets 2,005 yards, a 5.8 average. Absolutely ridiculous. 13 touchdowns, all those career high. He also had 2,283 yards from scrimmage, and he added 2 more touchdowns receiving, and he had 278 yards there. So just a phenomenal season for Saquon Barkley. The best year of his career, obviously. In a return to form from his rookie season where he had 1,307 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns, and then 91 receptions for 721 yards and 4 touchdowns for 2,028 yards from scrimmage. So Saquon Barkley returned to form, returned to how good he was as a rookie, made the Giants look foolish for giving up on him. And the Eagles went to the playoffs. Saquon Barkley was huge in the playoff run. Wasn't as productive in the Super Bowl, but really the only thing you can say good about the Chiefs was that they were able to tee off on him and prevent him from being as productive as he was, which only allowed the Eagles to pass wherever they wanted and blow out the Kansas City Chiefs. So huge part of them winning the Super Bowl. And so they rewarded him with a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension. And this will make him the highest paid running back in NFL history. The deal makes Saquon Barkley the NFL's first $20 million per year running back. So I think this is well deserved. And I think this is a bit of a market correction, right? We've been in the era of passing games where it's easier, where all these quarterbacks are playing so well and you need a prime time great quarterback to win the Super Bowl. And the Eagles came out and they went a little bit against the grain. Yes, Jalen Hurts, he's a solid quarterback. I think we can all admit that now. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, but Jalen Hurts is not the top tier of quarterback, right? He's a bit limited in what he can do passing the ball. He doesn't scare you necessarily if he had to pass the ball only, but he makes up for that in his athleticism, his ability to score in short yardage with the tush push, and he's just like a very solid, very smart, doesn't turn the ball over quarterback. He does everything that the Eagles ask of him and everything they need of him, especially with Saquon Barkley there, to be the person that defenses tee off. We saw that tee off on. We saw that in the Super Bowl, and it led to Jalen Hurts having probably, I don't know, that other Super Bowl that he lost, he actually played pretty amazing. So maybe you want to say that was the best game, but he lost. Whereas this game, he played pretty much perfectly. He had one interception, but he played so great and they won the Super Bowl. So like, was that expression 6-1, half dozen in the other? Pick your poison, pick your better game for him. Do you care about him playing stats wise better in a loss or pretty much perfect for a win? I can be convinced of either one, but Saquon Barkley is perhaps correcting the market. And now it will be very interesting to see what happens with James Cook in Buffalo. He's looking for a new contract. He's finally eligible for one, and he is a huge part of the Buffalo Bills' success in a similar way, where Josh Allen, he can throw the ball all over the place, but that offense really ramped up a notch when Ken Dorsey got fired and the switch to a more balanced approach. And so I think, this will James Cook make more than Saquon Barkley? I don't think so. I think Saquon Barkley has proven more, but I do think that we're going to see this trend of teams perhaps moving away from trying to get only a top tier quarterback and focus more on making more of a balanced team, because that Eagles team is stacked top to bottom around their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and it starts with Saquon Barkley. So what do you think about all of this? Do you agree with me that this could prove to be a bit of a market correction in the NFL, a bit of a focus back to running the football is something I predicted on this channel would happen, and I think this is like one of the first big dominoes to show that it is going to happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
All
Everybody,
right.
welcome back to Around the Diamond. Oh my gosh, forgetting all the names, but I'm joined by Chris Huminski, who is live from Cubs spring training right now. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good. That's right. We're coming to you live from Mesa, Arizona, Sloan Park, Chicago Cubs spring training. That's right. Cubs are currently up 3-0.
Love to hear that. So, how has it been so far being in Arizona? Probably a lot nicer than where we're from weather-wise.
Maybe right now, yeah. It's like 70, yeah, it's like 70 degrees right now. It was in the 60s yesterday. It was beautiful.
Love to hear that. And is this the first game you've gone to so far?
Yes, this is the first Cubs game I've been to so far this year. First spring training game ever. I'm excited for this.
Love that. And how have they looked thus far?
So far they look pretty good. They're playing the Padres right now. They're up 3-0.
Nice.
Hittings looked really good. The pitching has been excellent.
Love to hear that. So, who has stood out to you so far? Not just in this game, I guess spring training generally.
Well, I guess right now I love to see some of the older guys coming back. Ian Happ has been having a good game so far. He's the only one left from the 2016 team. Seiya Suzuki's back too. I love seeing some of these prospects too playing. I think this Cubs team is gonna look. They're gonna look okay this year. Maybe on par with the Red Sox, if not just a little bit better.
All right, hey, don't let Rhett hear you say that. I don't know how he'll feel about it, but yeah, no, lots to be excited about. And just like, give me a little like, what's it like here at the Arizona version of Wrigley? I don't know what it's called, but what's the experience like as a fan?
Oh, this is great. I mean, I'm sure you can hear the stadium sounds around me. It's a great vibe here. It feels like being at Wrigley Field. I've been to Wrigley Field in the regular season before. They got the old style beer, stuff right there too. It's a great vibe overall. It's nice seeing some real baseball being played too. They don't seem like they're just like, oh, like where it's just preseason, we're going through the motions. No, they're playing. They're playing. I like seeing the stars out there too.
Yeah, a lot different than say like the NFL preseason, where they really need to get back to baseball speed here, and they need there's not as much risk of injury as in the NFL for the starters, so the starters can actually get out there and do
True.
stuff. You know,
Yeah, I guess that's what makes games like this more fun. Even though like this game doesn't count, nobody really cares. But like it's about the game. It's about the vibe. It's about coming out and watching one of the best teams play one of the greatest sports ever made,
yeah, no, I love it, and
or coming to a Cubs game.
yeah, and I do wonder. I mean, are they always in Arizona for the Cubs?
Yes,
Like,
they are.
yeah,
Yep, they do the Cactus League for spring training. So they'll play a lot of like the West Coast teams, and like they're playing the Padres right now.
so I
Yeah,
would
it's been in Arizona
imagine.
for a while, as long as I've known at least.
Yeah. So I'd imagine there must be a pretty like substantial fan base of Cubs fans out there who have like, you know, just been like, hey, we like the Diamondbacks, so we also have the Cubs come. And then I imagine also a lot of Chicago and you're from New England, people coming to enjoy the good weather at this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, at least as long as I've been out in like the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale area, I've seen a fair amount of Cubs fans, a lot of people from other cities too. There's definitely a lot of snowbirds out here. I'm obviously from Boston. I'm out here on vacation. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that out here.
Anything else about the Cubs specifically you want to talk about, or do you want to talk
I
about
guess
just
they're I
like
guess they're looking pretty
experience?
good. They're looking pretty good right now. I'm excited to cover them more for you this year as a part of the Around the Diamond series.
Yeah.
I'm super excited being here.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited as well. I really think that we're gonna hit the ground running with baseball. Everyone seems pretty on board, which is nice because it's not gonna fall on any one person to be like the expert about everything happening. So we'll get a lot of different stuff going on with it, and a lot of unique stuff like this, Chris. I mean, you being there live from what's it called there again?
This is Flown Park, and it is in Mesa, Arizona. Let's try to get a little back view here,
Nice.
sort of see what it's like.
And like pretty reasonable prices to get in there.
As far as I know, yeah, I didn't pay for these tickets, but
All right. That's even better.
oh yeah, it's a free baseball game, free hat.
Love that.
Uh, it's yeah, no, it's a great vibe here. We love baseball.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to add before we get talking about some Bruins?
Oh, I think that's it for the Cubs for now. Let's get to some hockey. I guess.
All right. We'll moving on to hockey. So, anyone watching on the podcast, this is just going to be a live transition. If you're watching a video, this will be its own video. So, everyone, welcome to Power Play. We're joined as always by Chris Umiski. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Brian. How are you doing?
Doing great. And for anyone who's just watching this out of context, Chris is at spring training for the Cubs, but he's a very committed worker here. He's ready to give us some Bruins updates because there was a trade today. Can you tell the
Yes,
people
there
about that?
was. I wasn't expecting to be talking about the Bruins today. Here from Chicago Cubs spring training in Mesa, Arizona.
I know we were
Um,
like, let's do this. This will be fun, and then a trade happened.
yeah, it's I got a lot of mixed feelings about this one, Brian.
Yeah, so let's pull up all the details again. Bruins receive from the Edmonton Oilers a 2025 second round pick, Edmonton's 2026 fourth round pick, defender Max Weiner, and then the Oilers receive Trent Frederick and Max Jones, both forwards. So, how do you feel about this?
I'm real sad that they traded for Trent Frederick. I thought that he was an up and comer with the team. Maybe not quite the first round material that we drafted him at, but he was a nice physical presence. I like that he would get out there and like fight people, hit people. That's something that we've been really missing since Zdeno Chara left and retired and did all the things that he did. Um, I'm happy to see that we're getting a defenseman in return. That's I say it all the time on this show. That's an area that we really need help in is defense. And I've been questioning Don Sweeney's skills a lot lately. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah. So, I mean, from like the outside looking in, just looking at the trade, this looks like a trade for the future for the Bruins. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yeah. I mean, I like that they got draft picks too, but like I'm scared that Don Sweeney could be the one to use them because his drafting and his trading and his player development has been the last couple of years.
Right. Right. Well, do you like the player we got back at all?
Yeah, Max Wanner's okay. I mean, he's not a terrible defenseman. I haven't heard too much about him. If he's coming from Edmonton, he's probably good
Mhm.
because they've got a real good organization up there. They at least know how to draft players.
Right.
I think that I'm hopeful that this will turn out to be a positive trade in the future, but I am quite sad to see Trent Frederick go.
Yeah. How do you feel about Max Jones being traded?
But Max Jones, I mean, whatever. He wasn't one of my favorites, wasn't one of my go-tos. Like, oh, hey, I love that player. I mean, he was a guy. He was just another guy on the team. So if he's going to go play somewhere else, maybe be better somewhere else. Good for him.
Yeah. No, for sure. So, I guess where do you think the Bruins stand now for this season? And then I guess like what kind of expectations do you have in the wake of this trade?
Well, in the wake of this trade and really all the moves that they're going to make leading up to the deadline, I'm hopeful that they will look better than they have looked. It was a really sad loss the other night to Minnesota. Um, I'm hoping that they'll be able to rise beyond just like the higher levels of mid in the wake of this trade. Again, it looks like defense is getting bolstered a little bit, which is an area that we always need help with.
Right. Do you have any predictions as to what the next domino to fall might be for the Bruins? No.
Um, I really don't. I haven't heard much about what the upcoming moves might be or what the conversations have been.
All right. Well, we'll be here. Even if Chris is at a Cubs game, we'll be here to update you all and give our thoughts on anything that happens. Anything else for this one?
I think that's it for me. Go Bruins, go Cubbies.
Go Cubs. Yes. Well, you have a great time of the rest of the game, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. It's good talking to you.
Yes, and tell people where to follow you, promote all that. Floor is
That's
yours.
right. You can get me on. I'm still on X until they ban me. At Chris Ubinsky. I'm still on TikTok until that goes away forever. At Chris Ubinsky. I'm on Blue Sky, Chris_Ubinsky. I have a band, Basics Plus. Follow us on all the things.
Yes, please do. So, yeah, Chris, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
You as well, Brian. Enjoy the cold.
Oh, I will. Later.
Take it easy.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to At the Buzzer. I'm here with Jack Tiernan. Jack, how you doing?
Doing good, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for hopping on kind of randomly because we got a big piece of news just dropped in the middle of the day. Kyrie Irving has torn his ACL in his left knee, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Jack, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think this is as a Celtics fan, this is a tough sort of thing to navigate, right? I think for me, I never you don't root for injury on a player, right? Like this is their livelihood. It's the same thing as like rooting for somebody to get laid off or fired, right? Like it's kind of, you don't do it, there's some ethics around it. I think there's a lot of general from the Celtics fans of the world, like just general disdain towards Kyrie for his promise to stay and leave. And if you haven't heard of that yet, you live under a rock, right? So you all kind of know the general Celtics fan consensus towards Kyrie. But for me, honestly, watching that happen, I was watching it live, and like watching that happen in real time, you're like, oh, that did not look good. And then you pan to Kyrie like going to come back into the game and shoot the free throws, and the dude's like sobbing, and you're like, okay, either this hurt a lot or like he knows something's up that like we don't know. So it typically you'll see like a lot of NBA players kind of walk it off like eventually after putting on a little bit of theatrics. But I think this time you could tell that was beyond that, right? He wouldn't be doing that for no reason. So he, goes back out after tearing his ACL. Clearly looks like a non-contact injury. Thought maybe he rolled one of his ankles, but the way he was walking, it was the other foot that was like, or the other leg that he was kind of prepping. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't root for that for anybody. And for me personally, even as a Celtics fan, like I feel bad for Kyrie, right? Like this was kind of, we're trading Luka Doncic. The keys to this team are kind of yours and AD's. And then probably not even 10 games later, the dude is out for the season, and probably the majority, if not at least half of next season.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point. Like Celtics fans, obviously they hold grudges. I think that's no secret to anybody.
Guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we don't like Kyrie too much on the court, but we'd much rather see him play and fail than not play. We don't want to see him get hurt. This sucks.
Completely.
Sucks for Dallas. I feel horrible for Dallas Mavericks fans.
Same.
Think of where they were, what, uh,
8,
9
9 months
months
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to figure the
No,
mental
me
math.
too.
Yeah, like 8, 9 months ago, June, they're in the NBA finals. Everyone's picking them, maybe because they hate the Celtics. Who knows?
True.
But a lot of people were picking them to be champions. Imagine going from that moment and fast forwarding to in March of next year, neither Kyrie Irving or Luka Doncic will be playing for the Mavs.
Yeah.
Like, how much would that suck?
Man, I equate that to the same as the Celtics. Like, let's say the Mavericks did win the finals, right? Imagine we trade Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown tears his ACL right now. Like that's where I'm at. For me, I can't even fathom that truly. Like that is like next level of wow, this shit sucks for lack of a better term, right?
Depressing at the buzzers.
I don't. We'd finish every session with our hands in our head, like
Yep.
our heads in our hand. Like it's not going to be. I couldn't imagine any Mavs podcasters out there. Like I'm so sorry. Like
I know.
it's not fun, man. It's not a fun time to be a Mavs fan, and I don't blame any of you for like just even frankly like finding a bandwagon team for this year. Like don't pain yourself any further. Like just jump onto a bandwagon. Hey, listen, Celtics, we'll take you, right? Like you want to root for us. It might be hard to do right now, but we'll take you.
Yeah. I hear baseball's fun to watch.
But yeah, baseball.
I don't
They're
know how
making
good
pace
the
of plays
Rangers are
better.
going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe Astros, right?
maybe Astros.
Definitely
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's Texas, right?
Yeah. So there's more to life than basketball.
I promise.
Yeah, that's all we could really say at this point. Because
CJ Stroud gonna make the leap, right? That's fine. There's hope.
Yeah. So I mean, what does this do for the, I guess, Western Conference now? Like, I'm kind of considering the Mavs. I doubt AD is going to come back now, right? Because
Same.
why would he?
Right.
You don't want him to get hurt further when Kyrie's already out for the year. And there's really no other moves to make. We're past the trade deadline.
Right.
So I'm kind of seeing like, okay, the Mavs will probably just throw the rest of the season, which is fine and reasonable given everything that's happened right now. So where does that leave the Western Conference with the Mavs kind of like made irrelevant by trades and injury luck?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the Mavs already were like bottom of the play-in, right? Like I think they're the 10 seed right now. Like based on they're so as time of recording, they're the 10 seed. Granted, there's a logjam from the 6 to the 10. So like they win a couple of games and a couple teams lose some games and suddenly they're the 6 seed. And it's like, oh, that makes more sense, right? I think if anything, this makes it less muddy for the other teams that are competing for that spot. Quite frankly, I don't think there's ever a shot where you see Kyrie and AD list Mavs take a big leap here. In my opinion, like I feel like I'm looking at the other teams that are above them. We've got Golden State Warriors, Clippers, Sacramento Kings, T-Wolves. T-Wolves being down there is surprising, but that's a topic for another time. And then the Mavs. So for me, that probably opens up a spot for like the Suns or even the upstart Trailblazers to kind of make a little bit of a run here. I think, frankly, we just don't. I don't think we see the Mavs make the playoffs here. And if they do, it's probably going to be through play-in. I'm actually looking ahead to like next season's trade deadline now, which I know is like kind of a crazy thing to do. But you look at Kyrie, you look at AD, and they're no spring chickens, right? So for me, it's how much time are we going to give these two to see what they can do together, if any? Frankly, maybe Kyrie doesn't probably not even back by the trade deadline next year, if I had to guess, or maybe just before it. For me, I think it's very interesting to say, like, how much time, given what we've seen Nico Harrison do so far, what is he going to do at the trade deadline next year, which is like insane to think about, but like that's just another like nightmare in the back of Mavs fans heads, I'm sure. I don't know. I think it's wacky if I had to really put it into perspective, but the fact that we're even talking about that is unfortunate for Mavs fans, right? The fact that that's even like in the realm of possibilities is enough of a heartache, I think. So don't blame him for not getting attached right now.
No, me either. I mean, dude, this went like spiraling out of control so fast.
So quick.
Like, I would be so upset if I was a Mavs
Yeah.
fan. So our
I
heart goes out to you as fellow
Yeah.
sports obsessed nerds. This sucks.
For sure. I think if I'm a Mavs fan, like for your own mental health, like find another team for this year. It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't blame you. Any legit like true sports fan, I don't think would blame you. Like there's some heartache to be had here.
UFL, that's coming.
Yeah.
San Antonio Brahmas, maybe
There we go.
can
We're
go
talking.
catch some games.
Right. I can't even
Texas
tell
is
them to.
huge, so that might not be that close to you, but
It's
you
3 hours, right?
the
3 plus.
Texas team, it's fun.
Yeah.
They took away every team on all these spring leagues I've rooted for have been dissolved in
Great.
the like mergers and everything. So like I don't have a team right now, but maybe we can both root for the Brahmas. And
Listen,
you know,
that's honestly like probably how Mavs fans feel right now anyway. I feel like it's nothing different. Everything that they've loved has been dissolved too. So if it makes you feel any better, I feel like there's a common ground here.
Mhm. RIP the New York Guardians and Tampa
Oh,
Bay
I know.
Bandits.
Bandits, man. What's up with
Yeah.
that? I know. That was the
Yeah,
only
they
thing I
didn't
had.
survive.
I know.
Oh
Brutal.
well. Anything you wanted to add to this before I get on out of here, Jack?
I don't think so, man. I think obviously just to wrap it all up, I feel for you Mavs fans. Hopefully Kyrie's back sooner rather than later. Again, as a Celtics fan, I think we could both say like we'd rather see him play than
Much rather,
not
yeah.
play and fail than not play, because that's just he's a wizard on the court, man. He's a blast to watch. So prayers up to Kyrie.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jack, where can they find you online? Anything you want to promote? Floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks, Brian. Best place to find me is on Twitter or X, and that's at Jack_Tiernan. Follow me there. I'm tweeting about basketball, baseball, football, whatever. We're in the off season. We're getting towards the 2025 draft for NFL, and we're getting towards the 2025 season for baseball. So you'll find me both on a couple of different shows here on Wicked Good Sports, and that's both Around the Diamond, which is obviously a rotating co-host show. I'll be on that with Brian and some others. You'll also find me on the Bayou Breakdown for when we have those that is specific to the New Orleans Saints, which is my team. So best place to find me is there.
Awesome. Thanks so much again. We'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Wicked Sports. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe as we try to get closer to 300 subscribers. We're only 41 away right now. Pretty exciting. Really appreciate all of your patronage, comments, likes, views. It really does go a long way. I know we're a very small channel, but we're trying to put out a lot of content for you, and we really enjoy what we're doing. So again, please subscribe. Check out our main channel, Wicked Everything, which is video game essays. Our other channel, Those Fake Nerds, which is kind of similar format to this, where it's news, but about video games and movies, general nerd pop culture stuff. And then we have our podcasting channel, Better Radio, which is of all of our podcasts that don't have to do with sports. Please check that out. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.